Hi, and welcome to Autoimmune Health and Life. This masterclass is going to be about health and life. It's about how to overcome your symptoms and take control of your autoimmune disease. This is going to be about the real shifts that you need to make in order to reduce and eliminate the symptoms of your autoimmune disease. Who this is for? This is for anyone who suffers from an autoimmune disease. This is for you if you have or think you may have leaky gut syndrome. And this is for you if you have out-of-control symptoms that are wrecking the quality of your life. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you how to overcome your autoimmune disease, even if it seems like that's an impossible thing right now. I'm going to show you how to win the battle of symptoms with your diagnosis without feeling like you're losing a war, because sometimes when there's symptoms and diagnosis piling up, we feel like we are in the battle of our lifetime. And if you don't know how to overcome those things, it can be like you're in a war. And if you're losing the war, that's not a good thing. So we want to make sense of the overwhelming information that you've been given and create a simple, effective plan to help you feel better quickly. I want to talk about the truth about nutrition and how mastering your nutrition is the key to mastering your disease, and how in just a few simple changes in your daily routine, you can reduce and even eliminate your symptoms. So here's my promise to you. It's these real shifts that you can make in order to reduce and eliminate the symptoms of your autoimmune disease. And we're also going to discuss about getting rid of fear, the doubt, the self-sabotage, all at the same time without taking any new medications. Because sometimes it's actually the fear and the doubt and the self-sabotage that keeps us locked up in our autoimmune responses. So does this sound like your symptoms? Do you have gut bloat, abdominal pain, diarrhea or constipation? How about weight gain? Maybe it's weight loss. How about skin irritations, rashes, dry skin? Do you suffer with fatigue? Do you get that internal shaking that you can't quite describe to your doctor? If you've ever had that one, you know exactly what I'm talking about. How about the external quaking, the shaking, the trembling of your hands? Maybe it's your knees, maybe it's your feet. How about the racing heart? How about your heart skipping beats? What about hair loss? Whether it's patchy hair loss or it's just kind of all over but very consistent and constant. How about the emotional roller coaster that we all get stuck on? How about lethargy? Are you just beyond fatigue? How about the overall feeling of unwellness? Have you suffered with miscarriages, insomnia, sweating, brittle hair? How about eye issues, bulging, blurry, painful? If you see spots? How about sensitivity to heat and cold? And these are just a few. This is just a small smattering of the symptoms that we all go through. But the big question is, do you feel like your autoimmune symptoms have taken over your life? Which a lot of times that's exactly what it feels like. So I want to discuss the real problem. It might be that you haven't made or possibly don't even know about these real shifts that I'm going to talk about today. And sometimes we know about bits and pieces of them, but we don't get in deep enough to actually get to the root causes. So that's what we're after today. Because once you make it, you'll be able to regain control of your daily life. You'll be able to sleep at night, and you will get up feeling rested. You'll be able to eat to benefit your health, and you will know what to eat and what to stay away from. And this is a huge key right here, and it's also a big shift for a lot of people. You'll be able to move your body, and you will be stronger and physically able to do the things that you want to do. And you'll be able to enjoy everything that you want in your life and start living again. And isn't that what we're all after? We just want to have a nice, happy life. So there really are key shifts. They're real key shifts that you need to make that will help you reduce and eliminate these symptoms and get rid of your autoimmune disorder. They are simple enough. They really are. Once you understand them, they are very simple. But it can be very scary because it goes against our grain and against everything we've taught and know. So it might not be that easy. Let me tell you a little bit about who I am. My name is Christy Mattoon. I'm a health coach, a life coach, a personal trainer, neurokinetic therapist. I do a lot with energy psychology. My specialty is helping people find another way to think, another way to find health, and another way to live. I've coached people all over North America, including Puerto Rico and Hawaii, and also South Africa, and now in Japan and Canada. So let's try and get an understanding of these real shifts. These are 3 underlying issues that you have to address to eliminate your symptoms and get rid of autoimmune disease. They are real, they're tangible, and they're key shifts that you must make. The first one is emotional, taking control over your emotional body. The second is about the food and nutrition, which we've heard a ton about. But if you have autoimmune disease, all the standard information goes out the window. And then it's about cleaning up the system. Cleaning yourself from the inside out from a physical standpoint is very important if you intend to regain your health. So let's talk about the first real shift. It's about taking authority over your emotional state. You have to operate with total integrity in order to do this. It's about taking authority over your whole self. Everything you do has to be from this place of total integrity. Being in total integrity will mean taking authority of your emotional state, your physical state, the food you eat, the things you think, and what you allow in your area. And what I mean by all that is if you have control of your emotional state, you don't let outside things bother you. Things can come in, they can go out, and you stay relatively stable. Same with your physical state. If you're in alignment with your physical body, your health would be whole, right? So most of us are out of alignment with that. Most of us are also out of alignment in our emotional state, and it causes some of these issues that we're suffering from. If you're in alignment and integrity with the food you eat, you never put anything into your body that's going to make you sick. And this is one of the hardest things that a lot of people struggle with when we start talking about eating differently for autoimmune issues. But once your body has created an antibody to any of these food-like substances that we all eat because it's what's in the center of the grocery store, all bets are off. If you keep putting it into the system, your body's going to keep fighting it. And we'll talk a little bit more about that later. So you have to do everything from total integrity. Think about, what do you practice? What do you do on a daily basis? What's your daily ritual that gets you ready and going every morning? It puts you in a positive space. Do you practice emotional eating? And we all know what that means. As far as from a negative standpoint, if you're emotionally eating, you're probably binge eating, or you're forcing yourself not to eat at all for emotional reasons rather than pure health reasons. But you can also do emotional eating from a positive space. And this is one of the things I love to teach people, is getting in alignment with the food you're eating and knowing the positive benefits it will have in your body. So when you're sitting in front of your salad, praising it instead of sitting there being downcast and downtrodden with yourself that you have to eat another salad. Talk to the vegetables. Let them know that your body is welcoming and ready to receive the benefits that they have for you. It's a different kind of mentality and practice that most people have than just, a general prayer over your food kind of idea. It's actually engaging with the energy that's sitting in front of you on that plate or in that bowl. How about emotional thinking? And we talk about this kind of stuff a lot. You hear about it a lot, where your emotional head is, and if you're thinking negative things all the time. And that could include talking to your food negatively and saying bad things about the way you quote unquote have to eat, right? If you take it from a positive space instead, you might get more positive benefit out of it. Same with that emotional thinking. If you're always telling yourself negative things about who you are, where you came from, what you have to go through, you're in that constant negative mode. If we change that habit and thinking, a lot of this stuff can start to slowly shift for you. And sometimes it's not slowly. Sometimes it can happen really rapidly. So when you're coming from a negative place with emotional eating or thinking or any way of being, it just causes emotional devastation. And that's the last thing that we want. So being in authority of your emotions is the highest level of integrity. When you're in authority and over any realm of your life, it puts you at that highest level of integrity where you're not going to do anything negative that's going to mess you up or tear you down. So one of the great things that you can say, or something that you can do, be part of your practice, is talk to yourself and tell yourself, I excel at me. I rise above and I do what's necessary in regards to me. I have myself in the highest integrity and the highest place of authority possible, and so I treat myself with superiority because I am so worth that. Your mind will change, your heart will change, and your body will change. Where the mind goes, where the head goes, the body follows. So again, it's about creating that practice. And I think even before you create the practice, you have to come to an understanding of what are you currently practicing. Because if you're struggling, I can tell you it's probably not something positive. You have to know what you want. You have to define what you are willing to do, and that's part of that 100% authority thing. And you have to be pliable and adaptable, because as things change in your body, as systems change and awareness changes, you have to keep being able to bend and roll with it, because as your body heals and we get back to some kind of homeostasis, it's not going to be normal for you. And so getting used to that and being pliable and adaptable to it is very important. So never do anything that isn't in your best interest. Take personal responsibility. It's 100% responsibility over everything that happens around you and in your life. If you want to attract health, you have to be decisive. You have to be willing to do what is necessary to heal your body and give it the time it needs to heal. You'll conquer the illness and you'll get rid of labels of diagnosis. And that's what we're really all after, is just to be healthy and whole so we can have happy, fulfilled lives. So attracting health again means taking authority over your mindset. It's 100% responsibility over your nutrition and making your body as strong as you can with whatever you have. So understand this. There is no escaping cause and effect. If you're eating poisonous food or you're eating food that's poison to your body, you're going to get the effect from that, whether it happens now or down the road a little ways. What you do for yourself now, positive or negative, will affect you tomorrow, next week, next month, and next year. So you have to get into alignment with what you're doing. If you're eating poorly, if you're thinking negative thoughts, it's going to keep affecting you in these negative patterns, including symptoms and disease. And you have to know what it is that you want. So we'll sit down and we need to go through what it is you're doing and what it is you actually want and see where that alignment is. So let's talk about the second real shift. This is about the roller coaster of diet and nutrition. This is these fad diets that everybody has gone into and out of for so long. And if you're picking up another diet book thinking it's going to be the thing, and I hope that it is for you, sometimes we hit the mark and we get the right thing going on. But most of the time, if you're stuck in autoimmune issues and you have a diagnosis, those diets don't do it anymore. Unless, like I said, you find exactly the right one. So we're going to talk about that a little bit, and then about exercise and moving your body. Your nutrition can stop your inflammation. Do you know this? Nutrition, or the food that you eat, is fuel and information to your body. So if you're eating poisonous fuel, or you're giving your body improper information, it's giving you information back based on what you gave it. Does that make sense? If you have an autoimmune issue, you most likely have leaky gut syndrome. And we've all heard about that. It's been all over the news and all over the place. It's a precursor to the chain reaction that causes inflammation. And we're going to talk about inflammation for a second. Inflammation is initially caused by the food you eat, the kind of inflammation that we're talking about. And it will never go away until you stop putting in the ingredients or the pathogens that are causing it. So that's the big deal with the nutrition, is you have to quit putting in the things that are making you sick. And then it's about, how do you find out what's doing what? So let's talk a little bit about inflammation. Inflammation is a protective response that serves to eliminate the initial cause of cell injury, say like from a bacteria, and to remove the consequences of such injury. So like causing necrotic cells or ruining tissue. So inflammation in and of itself is not a bad thing. It's a natural response that your body has that would serve you pretty well if we weren't putting so many poisons and toxins into our body. This inflammatory response is closely intertwined with the process of repair. So what we know about inflammation is when your body gets inflamed, it's because your body's trying to repair. It's killing something. It's getting rid of the pathogens that are involved, and then it's trying to start repairing. And that inflammation actually gives the tissue room to get some repair going on in there. So the two types of inflammation that we hear about most, and I think these are the two big ones, are active or acute. The initial concentrated effort to eliminate an injurious agent or locally at an injury site is active inflammation. So it's that first probably 24 hours, if not earlier, that your body starts to swell when you either come in contact with a pathogen or have an issue going on, or when you've injured yourself locally somewhere in your body, say like spraining your ankle or twisting your knee. You'll get that on-site inflammation. The other kind is chronic inflammation. It's continued active attempts to eliminate a pathogen. It happens over and over. So your body inflames and stays inflamed because it's trying to kill this pathogen, trying to eliminate whatever it is that's in there. The question is why is the pathogen there? Where does it keep coming from that your body has to keep fighting it? Because my guess is your body's probably not producing it. So how is that pathogen getting in there? If it's coming by way of your food, this is an easy one to fix. We go back through all the food and figure out what you're eating that's causing this chronic inflammation. Take that out of the system, let the system heal up for a while, reintroduce it, and see what happens. Right? So this is kind of the type of diet that you'd hear or that you hear talked about, that people are, really honing their nutrition down to whatever they're eating so they know exactly what's going in their body. And then as they start to feel better, they'll start reintroducing things to see what feels good and what doesn't. So inflammation is no secret. It's been around for a long time. Back in 2004, Time had it on the cover of their magazine. They talked about it as the surprising link between heart attacks, cancer, and Alzheimer's and other diseases. What they're saying right now is that this inflammation is the root cause of pretty much every disease. If we can knock out the inflammation, we can calm the symptoms down and eventually get rid of the disease as the body heals. So let's talk about what it is you're putting into your system that's causing these issues. Sometimes you'll hear them called Franken foods. Sometimes you'll hear it called food-like products. This is the bagged, bottled, canned, processed foods that we all feel like we're entitled to eat. It's the stuff that's in the center of the grocery store. And actually, this is expanded now. So even in the periphery of the store where we used to feel safe to shop, you can't feel safe anymore because of the toxic load that those items have, which is the vegetables, the fruit, and your meat items. So you have to really know what you're eating because of all the different things that are in those items. What I usually tell people is if you're eating food, and we'll specifically stick to the center of the grocery store for a second, if you're eating out of the center of the grocery store, and like I said before, that's the bagged, bottled, canned, or processed stuff, quit going in there. Quit walking into that part of the store. If we can stay away from that part of the store, it eliminates so many things right off the get-go. You're eliminating a ton of stuff just by not buying processed foods. It includes all the sugar, all the corn syrup kind of stuff. It includes all the processed white flours, the glutens that so many people are having issues with, especially if you already have an autoimmune issue, right? It eliminates a lot of that stuff right off the top. The hard part is getting into emotional alignment so that you can do that. Because if your head is still thinking you're entitled to eat those things, that's where a ton of struggle comes up. So I want you to understand toxic load. Toxic load is the amount of toxic things that your physical body can handle before it breaks down. So you eat and eat and eat over a lifetime. You're putting in all these poisons, and the GMO foods are counted in that. We'll talk about those in a few minutes. And it builds up inside your body, and you have this toxic load in your system. At some point, your body's just going to break down. It's not going to be able to handle the load anymore, and so it quits working properly, which is where we get this inflammation. And then you're in the fight with these autoimmune diseases and all of these symptoms. So sometimes we'll hear about people, who do all these bad things. They eat all the wrong stuff. They smoke, they drink, they whatever. And, why do they never get a disease and they live these long lives? What the understanding is that they are able to handle the toxic load. If you're the person that can't handle the toxic load, then we need to clean the system up and get you away from those type of items. So where does toxic load come from? You're toxic because of your food supply, probably pharmaceuticals, the air and the water. The air is toxic because of car pollution, factories. The water is toxic, the ocean, the chemicals and poisons from the factories that get put into the water and pollute it. You drink the water, right? And the water that's being purified and coming through our sinks has fluoride in it. That's a neurotoxin. There's some other chemicals in the water too that are a big concern. Chlorine is one of those. If you've got thyroid issues, the chlorine will mess you up. The whole earth is toxic. The soil, the animals, right? If we have a food supply that's toxic and we're eating it and then we're feeding it to our animals are toxic, and then any food that we eat from that chain is bad, which is why you have to know what you're eating. It is so important. Food-like products. This is the food in the center of the grocery store. This is partly what we just now talked about. The USA hosts chemicals, known poisons and toxins, masked as sugars, stabilizers, and food colors, among other things, in its processed foods. And there's many, many more chemicals than just what I labeled there. It's the craziest thing when you sit there and look through some of these items, and you can't even put words to it. You don't know what you're eating. You don't know what it is. And that's why I tell people stay away from it. If you can't read it, you don't know what it is or what it does in your body, why on earth would you put it in your system? GMO products are the same thing. And GMO seems to have its own little weird world going on right now. But GMO is a product. It's a product that the people who make it, Monsanto, is making money off of. If we don't eat the product, they're eventually going to have to change it to something that they can make money off of to support their own livelihood. The world has seen an increase in symptoms and new diseases since Monsanto and the introduction of genetically altered foods into the marketplace. Like I said, if you quit eating it, they're going to have to quit producing it. If we can get enough people to walk away from these things, and there's a huge movement going towards this already, the food-like products, if we stay away from all of it, eventually they'll quit producing it and they'll have to make something that we'll purchase. And like I said before, even the meat. Do you eat meat? Do you ever wonder what your meat is eating? Because they're feeding that cow, that chicken, that pig something. And if you don't know what it's eating and then you're eating it, if you have an issue with that thing, and let's say gluten is the deal. If you're eating, say, a steak from a cow that was eating gluten, you get the byproduct of their messed up system because of everything that they're eating, but you also get the byproduct of the gluten they've eaten. And it's going to send your system back into the spiral. So proper food, real food, acts as fuel and information to your system. If you're eating real whole food, it's just fuel and information. And if your body is informed right, it's going to respond right. So let's talk a little bit about movement, or the lack of it. Is it holding you back? Getting up and moving your body daily is key. You have to get up and move around. If you are sitting in a chair for more than 25% of your workday, you're sitting way too much. Our bodies weren't meant to sit in a position, seated position for that long. 20 minutes a day of movement that will engage your metabolic system can bring a huge change and result to your life. Maximal results from 20 minutes of a focused effort can give you great change. You'd be surprised every day if you put your 20 minutes in at a maximal effort for whatever it is you're doing, whether it's walking, whether it's doing air squats or air lunges or doing, your crunches, whatever it is. If you're doing 20 minutes of maximal movement, you're going to get a decent result. So regular movement increases the feel-good chemicals in your brain and causes positive side effects. Get up even when you don't want to. Regular movement has been proven to reduce stress, ward off anxiety and depression, boost self-esteem, improve sleep, reduce toxic buildup. So we're back to that toxic load we were just talking about. It's been proven to increase muscle mass, which is why people like to work out, right? Most folks that are really lifting weights and working out, they're trying to increase their muscle mass. Increased muscle mass increases blood circulation. It increases oxygen input into your cells. It increases cell regeneration and nutrient movement. It increases overall strength and body control. And it increases the overall feeling of well-being. So there's reasons to have muscle mass on your body. And if you're a woman, I know a lot of times we get that kind of locked up in our head. We don't want too much. You're not going to be able to get too much. Any bit that you can get at this point is just going to be helpful. Fat does not have blood circulation. Fat does not move oxygen. Fat does not regenerate cells or move nutrients. You really need that muscle tissue in there to help with these things. So here's a story for you. It's a perfect example of a lady who was overweight. She was diagnosed with Hashimoto's. She was also postmenopausal at 38. She had pre-diabetes. One doctor actually told her it was, instead of diabetes, it was I'm not going to remember the word, but the opposite end of diabetes. And she had pretty much given up. She had arthritis. She had bones dying in her feet. She had 2 kids in school, and the demands were just too much. She turned it around with good coaching that got her moving, first slow and steady, no crazy workouts, just moving. She just got up and started moving. And then she started seeing a difference, so she started eating differently to combat the effects of the hormonal issues in the thyroid. She decided not to buy into the doomsday advice of her doctor. So that was like a huge mind shift right there. When you can get somebody to not buy into the doomsday advice and kind of take a different route through the symptoms and diagnosis. And with that, she went with a cleanup plan instead. She went from 300 pounds to about 170. Her kids are now grown and moved on, and she's creating the life she wants. This person is me. That's why I call it the original story. It's my original story. It's where I came from. So I know all these things can change when you get your head in a right position, when you're in alignment with the things you're doing, and when you're eating in alignment with what it is you're trying to produce in your body, which is health. If that's not in alignment, you're never going to get there. So here's the third real shift. It's about cleaning out the system and purging the toxins. What most programs miss. Most programs give you the diet. They talk about losing weight, or maybe it's getting rid of symptoms. But what they're not doing is a specific plan to detox the system. And by that, I mean your whole body. Cleaning the system is a big piece of healing. Miss this component and you may stay symptomatic. So it's the one thing that I found when my symptoms kept engaging and kept going on, even though they were much, much less. I got rid of all kinds of stuff just from eating right and moving my body. The biggest thing that stuck around, though, were these little kind of nagging symptoms, right? The hair falling out, the itchy skin, some of the weird little things, the eyes getting kind of tweaky. Detoxing the system actually started getting rid of those. And I know now when I'm inflamed, the first thing that starts to happen is my hair starts to fall out. If I get rid of the inflammation, my hair stays intact. So what isn't a good detox? First of all, colon cleansing. Second, liver and gallbladder cleansing. Third, a parasite cleanse. And then a green living cleanse. And green living, what I mean by that is that you have to be able to clean out your lifestyle, clean out around you. It's very, very important. So the colon cleanse. Colon cleanse is followed up with regular maintenance. You cleanse the colon with whatever thing you're using to cleanse it with. And if you work with me, I give you some ideas on that. I tell you what I do. But you can get colon cleanses all across the nutrition store. So you can find something that you think will work with you. But then it's regular maintenance. You don't just do it once and expect that to stay clean. It takes some going after. Cleansing 2 to 3 times a week to keep it, to get it regular, first of all, and then to keep it regular. The colon cleanse that I like is an oxygen colon cleanser. Or you can use colon hydrotherapy. Or you can look up different colon cleansing cocktails that you can make on your own. When cleansing the liver and gallbladder, we do this 3 consecutive cleanses. So even while we're still cleansing the colon, we do that first for 7 to 10 days, and then it's the liver and gallbladder cleanse. And it's 3 consecutive cleanses with 10 days in between each. It's very important to wait that period of time and then go after it again, because you'll be amazed. It is amazing how much stuff your liver and your gallbladder lock up. And even if you don't have a gallbladder, you still do the liver cleanse. And then we work on parasite cleansing. This cleanse should be done after the second liver cleanse. So you're kind of doing these all together and getting the whole body rolling together. It should take 6 weeks to complete, which is the lifespan of a parasite from egg to maturity. It should be organic and wild crafted from herbs, and it should be accompanied with a probiotic. So if you're looking for something online, that's what you want to look at. And then after that, it's a heavy metal cleanse. And you can test that for yourself. There are test kits that you can actually get to see what heavy metals you're toxic with. Mineral Check is one home testing kit that you can use. It requires just a sample of your hair. And then you recheck every 30 to 60 days. The best products for cleansing metals are organic, wild crafted herb blends. And again, it's something, when you're doing this, you have to do it and then give your body time to respond. Give your body time to heal. You can't do this and just expect everything's going to be awesome. You might actually find yourself into a healing response where the body's kicking so much stuff out, you might feel a little bit shaky and queasy for a while. It might make you feel a little bit sick. But keep working through it and keep working on it, because eventually you will get to the other side. You have to eat to support your cleanse. So if you're cleaning the gut, cleaning the bowels, eat supporting organic fruits and vegetables and tons of herbs. Eat the things that are going to help your body keep moving what you're trying to move out, and then regenerate with good probiotics and good food. Improve your overall health by eliminating the toxins in every avenue of your life. So now you're looking into your closets, the soaps, the shampoos, the makeup, all the different stuff, the chemicals and toxins that you're putting into your washer and dryer. And it's a whole lot of those kind of things that now we're trying to start to move those out, because if you're detoxing and cleansing your body, you don't want to keep adding these things back in. So here's a quick recap. At this point, we know it's most important to be operating from total integrity. You have to get rid of the roller coaster of diet and nutrition, and then do a full cleanse and do a repeat colon cleanse every week. Take authority over your emotions, and you'll be off to a great start. Establish a practice. It'll keep you moving forward and will give your life massive value. Be aware of what you are fueling your body with. Be aware of what you're informing your body with. Start a process of regeneration and cleaning out all of the toxins out of your system will allow your body space to heal. And it's not just space, folks, it's time. You have to give your body time to heal. So now I'm going to tell you a little bit about a secret weapon. It's about rewiring your mind to create health. Because if you're stuck in a negative mindset, sometimes moving out of that negative mindset is what keeps you going back and eating the things that are making you sick. So here's a new way of doing or thinking about this. And I don't recommend you get rid of your doctors or your medications. But having said that, I want you to look at this new way. It's a healthy mind plus a daily practice and nutrition and movement, and then cleansing that will give you this new start. So here's another way of looking at it through this chart so you might be able to see it easier. The healthy mind and your emotional state. The daily practice of food and nutrition. The daily practice also includes your emotional state, and everything is included in every avenue of this. When you're cleansing your emotional state. You're cleansing your food. You're cleansing your body. When you're using this emotional state and this healthy mind, it incorporates eating well. It incorporates doing positive things for your body. So an understanding of how your brain works can make a difference for you to change behaviors that don't serve you. The secret weapon is knowing how to clear beliefs that you hold on to in your subconscious mind that keeps you in negative patterns. Your subconscious mind is a storage locker, and it stores knowledge of events that happen to you during the course of your life. So from a young age all the way up to where you are now, some of the stuff that you could be storing is about the things that you're eating. You can't let go of some of the bad foods, let's say the Twinkies or the chocolate or whatever it is, because of how many times you were fed it as a child when you were hurt, and it was a response to that pain that you got this piece of food that made you feel so good. One of the things you might not know about that kind of food, it's called a bliss point. They target the food with sugar, fat, and salt to such a degree that it triggers in your brain this happy response. And that's part of what makes you want to keep going back for more. It's, like I said, it's called those bliss points. You can look that one up. So negative beliefs can include your thoughts about food, what you can or can't eat, especially when you're trying to heal from an autoimmune issue. Things that the doctor told you, about survival rates, or maybe that your disease is incurable, or maybe that you're always going to be like this and you're stuck in these patterns. Maybe it's about the way you think you have to live based on what you've seen, thought, or read. Maybe these negative beliefs do come all the way back from your childhood, and it's stuff you just need to go back and clean up. So how do you clean out the storage locker? This becomes part of the practice. I personally use the method that is quick and effective, and it can aid in helping you heal from the turmoil you've been in. This method, it's a method of releasing subconscious thoughts that takes only minutes for you to feel results. It's pretty interesting. This particular method is called Psych-K, and it has a lot of different aspects to it. But the biggest thing I like about it is when you get stuck in the moment, you can just stop and clear out whatever's got you stuck and keep moving forward. So the proof is in the outcome. This is about my client Bobby. She started out at over 200 pounds. She was a type 2 diabetic. She was on an insulin pump. She was on metformin to help control her blood sugar. Today she's under 160 pounds and off of her pump. She's also off of her meds. She's made such a drastic change in her life that she is in her first year of acupuncture school. She made some huge shifts for herself. And it's all from these very things we're talking about. It started with changing her mind and getting in alignment with what it was she wanted. It was about who she was, what she wanted, what she would allow in her circle and around her. She got so clear on where she's going that the path seems to keep building with momentum for her. And don't get me wrong, there's stumbling blocks. I was actually just talking to her the other day. And, when you let your guard down with the nutrition and you start thinking, maybe I've healed up enough that I can introduce some of this new stuff, and then your body just totally rejects it, it can be very frustrating. But it's knowing how to get back on the right path at that point that's a very clear key to this. So this is a clear path to health. And everybody needs a mentor to get through this. I have mentors. To this day, I still have mentors. I have people that I turn to, that I ask questions of, that I can go to for assurance and reassurance. It's an understanding and being with and around somebody who knows. The best athletes have trainers. They have mentors. The best business people and coaches do. If they need one, why would I think I can get through what I'm going through all by myself? And some people can. Some people can make it through the mire of information and all the craziness on their own. But having a good mentor brings in numerous things. It's about motivation, accountability, and new ideas, just to name a few. There's new ideas in your head right now that probably wouldn't be there if you hadn't made time for this webinar. A great mentor will have a game plan and then make sure that you reach your goals. It's a clear road to health. So I just want to point out, I do have a Facebook group called Autoimmune Health and Life. And this isn't on here, but I also have one called Building Change Now. And you're more than welcome to check out either of those websites. So today I've talked about how your emotions are a crucial piece of healing. How food is fuel and information to your body. How cleansing the system is the only way to clean it out, and how negative subconscious thoughts, beliefs, and memories can wreck your health. So what you need to do to win is you have to operate from total integrity. You have to eat well, to the integrity of the kind of health that you want. You have to cleanse the system to clean it out. It's not going to clean out on its own. You have to use a secret weapon, a subconscious mind change tool of some sort. A lot of folks call it energy psychology protocols. EFT is one of those. Brain spotting is one of those. EMDR is one of those. And some of those you have to go to a clinical practitioner to do. The one that I use, you don't. You can actually take classes on it, and it's quick and effective. So the biggest thing that you have to know is you have to take time to heal. If you don't take time out to give your body the time it needs to heal, you're going to keep ending up back in the same cycle. Resetting the system so that it works properly is the key to all of this. Your body knows what it needs to do to heal and to respond the way you want it to, but you have to fuel it right, you have to be in integrity with what you're doing, and then you have to give it time to heal. How I can help. I've set aside some time to speak with anyone who would like to. to personally talk to you about how to apply these kind of shifts to your life starting today. The cost for this is free. But this is not for everybody. You must be absolutely committed to setting and hitting these kind of goals with integrity and true concern for your own well-being. You must have a real desire to commit and be ready to put in the time and effort to heal. A lot of people aren't. It's a really interesting thing because there's a lot of little pieces of this that can get a little bit scary. So you have to put into it the kind of time and effort that it takes. This isn't for you if you're just looking for a nutrition plan and a handful of recipes. This isn't for you if you just want an exercise program or a system to adjust your mindset. And this is not for you if you're looking for a cure-all. This is for people who understand the value of a set plan and are ready to listen to coaching and do what is required to make the changes and take authority over their lives. So this little red box at the bottom is actually, I don't think you can click on it, but you can copy that down and go to that website and go ahead and book an appointment with me. We'll sit down and talk for probably 45 minutes to an hour and see what it is that you're needing and where I can help you in that process. This is a breakthrough session. On this call, I'm going to give you total clarity about what you want in your life. I'm going to help you get to that place of total clarity, what you want your life to look like and how you want to feel and function inside of that life, and the steps that you should take to achieve the kind of health that you want. If you want me to help you and I think you'll be a good fit, I'll invite you to be one of the new clients that I'm taking on. So this is about the breakthrough session. If we work together, I'll share with you a program that has been designed with you in mind. The work is made to put you back in charge of your life and give you the authority to take responsibility of your own life and your health. Spaces are limited in this. I am only one person, so I only take on a handful of people at a time. But please sign up for this free breakthrough session today, and let's see where we can get you to. Here's the sign up link again. It's meetme.so/building-change-now. I'd like to thank you. I'd like to thank you for being here today and listening to this masterclass, this webinar, and I hope it was helpful, and I look forward to speaking with you soon.